Hello and welcome back to Fallout 76. Today I am on the public test server to have a look at Ticket to Revenge. More specifically, I want to determine with the Onslaught system and the changes to Furious if Ticket to Revenge is a solid choice over a quad railway rifle. If you have questions about Onslaught and how it works, I do have a video going over that system and it is linked in the description. So the plan is pretty straightforward. I'm going to shoot some things with Ticket to Revenge, then I'm going to shoot some things with the quad railway rifle and just see how they stack up against each other. So here's Ticket to Revenge. Just in case you didn't know, it is a quest reward from the Skyline Valley quest line. That entire quest line gives you 4 weapons, and this is one of those. So it is Furious with faster weapon speed, 90% reduced weight, and it has double ammo capacity, which is what makes this one special. Now, the legendary effects are what they are. You cannot change them, and you cannot add a 4th star. So here's the build. So it's basically, under perception, just a typical commando setup. We do have awareness. That perk has been reworked, so it's actually giving you extra VATS accuracy, which is very nice. And we have all of the Guerrilla and Gunslinger cards with the exception of Gunslinger Master, because we are building stacks, Onslaught stacks on every hit rather than over time. And it is a critical build, so we have critical savvy and better criticals. And the armor has limit breaking on every piece, which means I'll be able to do a critical hit every other shot. So as far as food buffs go, the important one is Sweet Mute Fruit Tea because that gives us extra critical damage. And I have Eagle Eyes for the same reason, bonus critical damage. So railway rifles just on their own, even if it's not legendary, are pretty strong. What we want to keep on the lower right-hand corner will be the Onslaught counter. Currently we're at 0 because that's just how it works. We build stacks over with hits on targets and we lose them over time. So we got up to 7 stacks there. So at the our last shot, we were getting 35% bonus damage from the weapon plus the benefits from the other perks. But you can see we're not getting very high, at least with this particular style of this particular setup of enemies. We got up to 14 there, which was pretty good. Remember, we'll max out at 20. So at 14, we're getting whoops, where are we at? There we go. So at 14, that's 70% bonus damage from that, which is, or from this weapon, which is pretty good. But you can see we're kind of fighting the clock here because we lose 1 stack per second. So we're starting off at 10 there, which is 50% bonus damage. So that's actually pretty good. The ammo capacity is plenty. We're never running up against it, at least when we are facing enemies like this, a few here and there, a few here and there. We're never going through enough to get past the 20. You can see where we at. We're at 15, so we're not even worried about. In fact, 10 would have been enough there. But so far, this is performing really well, like you would expect a railway rifle to perform. So let's do an area where the enemies are a little more spaced out and see what that does for us in terms of building stacks. You can see enemies, even with we maxed out at 3 stacks there, which is only 3% damage. We're still doing just fine. But we're also not getting much benefit from Onslaught, from the Furious effect. If we can't build our stacks past, if we're only building stacks to like 4 or 5, there are just better options available. So there we go. Let's see. What the hell? Okay. And sometimes the shots just miss for no reason at all. So let's see. We've got another one there, but you can see our stacks are gone. When enemies are spaced out like this, we're not getting really any benefit from it, but you could also argue that you don't really need a lot of benefit because railway rifles on their own are already just really strong, and do we really need bonus damage? And if we don't, then why are we using this over something else? Oh, there we go. Oh, we have Ricochet going. Now, the reason I have Ricochet equipped is because Ricochet can actually build stacks, which is what we want. We've got something over here, but yeah, we're up to 10. All right, so once we get up to double digits, then we're doing 50% or more bonus damage from Onslaught, plus the benefit from the other Gunslinger and Guerrilla cards as well. Let's see, we want the thruster there. There we go. But yeah, basically no stacks. And that's kind of the way it seems. It seems like it's going to be when you're running against enemies that are spread out. You're just mostly going to be running without any kind of bonus damage from the Furious effect because you're just not going to build up any of the Onslaught stacks. There we go. We got up to 4, which probably didn't need it. Probably 4 versus 0 is probably the same number of shots to kill an enemy. So where this effect should really shine, or where this weapon should really shine, would be against a tanky target, one that you're going to shoot, you know, one that's going to take more than a couple of shots to kill, where you can actually build up some, you know, build up the damage. So we're at 16 stacks right there, which is pretty good. And I really want to let her get close so that I can get maximum benefit, because one of the perks does give you extra damage to close-up enemies. I think that's probably close enough. You can see the damage, yeah, up to 800. So against a tanky target like that, this is definitely, I mean, I would say this is probably going to be my top choice. Probably. We still have to check out that quad, but let's find another tanky target. Maybe. All right, there is a Scorched Beast really far away. Manual aiming is... Well, that's smoke. That smoke makes it very tough. As soon as I fire a shot, I can't see when I'm maybe a third person. There's some right there. Build up some stacks. There we go. Build up some damage so when we fight the Scorched Beast. Finally, maybe. Eventually, it's just gonna fly away whenever. Yeah, this is, sometimes it's that way. When you fight things that fly, sometimes, no problem dealing with Scorch, but again, non-legendary railway rifle would also not have a problem. There we go. Let's get some of that, damage. Whoa, okay, up to 1,000. That's pretty good, and it is, 2-star and diseased. So, all right. That does a fairly reasonable job of, taking her down. So here's our quad railway rifle that I crafted. And that's kind of where the advantage might come in, is the fact that I can pick which effects I want. So of course we have quad, and then I went with vital over faster fire rate just so I can get extra critical damage whenever possible. Reduced AP cost, so it goes from, I think it was 13 on the Ticket to Revenge down to 9. So being able to stay in VATS longer could also be an advantage. And then I'm able to put a 4-star on this. So we have the pinpointers, which gives us 50% bonus damage when targeting appendages. And that's basically anything but a torso. I mean, there are some exceptions to that, but for the most part, headshots, arms and legs will all give you that 50% bonus damage. And since none of this relies on Onslaught, I'm getting, you know, all of that bonus damage all of the time, regardless of how many Onslaught stacks I have, which against most regular targets, that could give us a little bit of an edge over Ticket to Revenge. So I would say against most regular targets, you're probably not noticing much of a difference. One thing that's nice about the quad versus the, about Ticket to Revenge is that, yeah, I'm not paying attention to Onslaught stacks. I'm using all of the same perks. The build is exactly the same for both runs, but I'm not using, in fact, that almost feels like I'm getting more damage out of this versus, yeah, against most enemies. This feels like I'm actually doing a lot better. I mean, it feels stronger and the damage numbers are bigger than what I was getting, at least against single targets. Because I am still getting, you know, when we do build up our stacks, we are still getting some of the bonuses from the other cards, like weak spot damage and damage to close, whoops, didn't time that right. Damage to close enemies as well. So, yeah, so far against these kinds of targets, I would say... Again, I'm not going to do a comparison where I compare health bars and all that. That's too much work for me. If I have to look that closely at a weapon, I'm just... If you have to look at that closely to determine a winner, then it's probably too close to call. But in terms of feel, this feels like it's a little bit stronger. At least it feels stronger in the case, you know, when you have just like little clusters of enemies here and there, and you're not building up those maximum stacks. I mean, at maximum damage, the... Actually, I don't know that it would be stronger, actually, just because you're not getting extra critical damage, you're not getting the pinpointers effect, you're not getting a benefit from a 4-star. And those benefits, you know, they may outweigh what you're getting from, at least against most of the time. I mean, my stacks are not building up that high. Of course, part of the reason why they're not building up that high is because it's not taking very many shots to kill things. So, can we do, there we go, thruster for you, thruster for you. And yeah, Gun Fu is a lot more effective on this for 2 reasons. Number 1, a lot more, well, double the ammo capacity of Ticket Revenge, and the AP cost is, you know, quite a bit lower. So, is that, nope. There we go. But so far, I would say of the two, based on, you know, if I was using it this way, where I'm just running and just shooting a lot of just, you know, enemies here and there, I think this would actually be my choice over Ticket Revenge. It's, the damage numbers, it's giving bigger damage numbers than what I was getting from Ticket Revenge just because of, you know, pinpointers does a lot of, gives you a lot of benefit. I mean, that's extra 50% damage, and that's multiplicative at this moment That could change at some point in the future, but at the moment that is multiplicative damage. So yeah, that seems like it seems like we're hitting harder with this. It just feels a lot stronger. All right, let's see how we do against a Mirelurk Queen. Okay, looks like we're starting off with a little bit of excitement. All right, so far that's okay. That went really well. Having that extra ammo capacity is pretty handy when you're fighting a big group of enemies like that all at once. Although I wasn't watching close enough to know. Get rid of them and them. And is there another? It seemed like it wanted to target another thing. All right, so was there 3 Blood Eagles there? Usually there's only 2. All right, let's flush out. Okay, let's flush out the Mirelurk Queen. Get this fight started. See how we do. We do have that pinpointers effect, which it does work against the spouts. That is something I did verify. So let's let it get close, benefit from that close damage, and see how we do. It looks like on criticals we're getting close, you know, damage is kind of close to what we're getting with the Furious, but this feels like it was really close. Between the 2 weapons, this feels like it was a pretty close fight. All right, so we got a Scorch Beast. This one is not. The other one was 2-star legendary, and this is a no star. So that's a bit of a difference. So it should go down easier just because it'll have, I think the only difference is the amount of health. I don't know if the like resistances are any different or if it's just the amount of health the stars give. But so far, I mean, against regular targets, doesn't feel much different. Let's see. Okay. Flying away, 1200. All right, that extra critical damage is really, yeah, that extra critical damage will make quite a bit of difference, especially when we're doing a crit every other shot. So this wasn't really a scientific test. It wasn't really meant to be. It was more of a seat of the pants, see which one feels better. And I would say for the most part, I prefer the quad. It just feels stronger in most situations that you run into. Against a boss, I think your better option is probably Ticket to Revenge. But again, unless you're fighting bosses nonstop, I think the quad is just a better all-around option. Now for a semi-automatic option, if you want to use this as a rifleman, I wouldn't go for quad, but I also wouldn't go for Ticket to Revenge either. I would just craft a new railway and put Furious on it, but then I could put the rest of effects as I wanted them instead of the static effects you have with Ticket to Revenge, because ammo capacity just really isn't that much of an issue when you're playing semi-automatic. So whether I'm playing automatic or semi-auto, I just don't think Ticket to Revenge is going to be my top choice. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please hit one of the buttons, and I hope you'll join me in the next one. Thank you very much.